Hey guys, let's give it a few minutes here and then we'll go ahead and get started. Got a lot of good people in here today. What's going on? Kenneth, Ghost Rider, Bigos, Adrian, Claudio, AJ, Nikolai, Abhishek, Tim, Eric, AB, Paco, Cena, Kelman, Vasilj, Greenland, Hyper, Marlon, Eswar, Biosis, 5-4 Maxi, Corpus, Akshay, Sala, Nicholas, Sino. A lot of good people in here, guys. A lot of good people in here. Yeah, it's going to be a good stream. I'm going to go over a lot of different news events and why the market flushed and where I think we're going from here. Sala says CZ Rug and Soul. Yeah, right? I know. Hopefully we don't close the daily below 198, but it looks like that may happen. Stanley says, is September going to be a bearish month? Does the absolute bull top happen from October? Yeah, I think mid-September to mid-October is going to be bearish, and then potentially we'll have a bullishness after that. So I'll be right back, guys. Let me get some food. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. 149 viewers, a lot of people in here today. That's so awesome, guys. 25 likes. Let's see if we can get those likes up. Really, really appreciate it. And hope you guys are having a great week. But with that, let's go ahead and get started. So, over $830 million of liquidations today. Very high amount of liquidations. We're near that $1 billion mark. We may have actually gotten near $1 billion. I'll need to see overnight, but nonetheless, as you guys know, whenever we have $1 billion of liquidations, that does mark a local bottom within 1 to 3 days. And so the local bottom is close. The local bottom is very close, and I believe that we will see some type of bounce within 3 days. I think that the market, honestly, we were pretty overheated, and now we're just having a natural reset. Obviously, there's other big reasons why we flushed, which I'll go into in a minute. But the big thing to note is a lot of longs were liquidated, so eventually market makers are going to want to take those shorts that are getting very overconfident right now. Next, liquidity heat map. So where is that liquidity flowing right now? Well, we have liquidity near 114K, and then we have liquidity below at 110K. So just looking here at the chart, I'm assuming we'll hit 114K first. Now, if we look at the 24-hour heat map, we can see the same thing here. So 114K is a big area of interest. It also coincides with resistance. And then this 110K level is where we bounced that last time. So again, guys, it's just standard support and resistance levels, standard supply demand. But what I'm seeing here is potentially a push towards 114K as we are slightly closer to that. But again, we'll have to see potentially more chop until then. Now, let's go ahead and look at some news items. So the big reason for the drop today, I posted this on my X account. If you guys aren't following me at the CryptoData, definitely do so. I post a lot of good content for you guys, and I keep you guys updated on everything. So the big thing that happened was a Bitcoin whale sold 24,000 Bitcoin worth over $2.7 billion, causing today's $4,000 crash in minutes. They still hold over 152,000 Bitcoin worth more than $17 billion. So this was the reason. This was the reason for the drop, is this Bitcoin whale was selling thousands of Bitcoin. And it created a cascade. Everyone else obviously sold because of that. And then that's when you had the flush down to 110K. Now, something to keep in mind with this is he actually used this profit to purchase Ethereum, funny enough. And so he staked his Ethereum on Hyperliquid, and that's how people knew. And so he sold all this Bitcoin and then bought Ethereum. And that's why you saw Ethereum outperform so much versus Bitcoin. So very interesting to see on that aspect of why Bitcoin dropped and then why Ethereum held its support. So very, very interesting stuff there, guys. But yeah, definitely I post updates as much as I can to keep you guys apprised. But like I said, follow me at the CryptoData. I give you guys the best content I can. Now, let's go ahead and go to Watch Your Guru and see some big news items that he has posted. So we'll look at the past week's worth of news. And guys, there's a lot of stuff to go over. So going to spend a good amount of time on this. After I go over all the news, I'll answer some questions. So if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments and I will get to them. So let's go ahead and go back to August 18th. August 18th, we had Thailand launching their program allowing tourists to convert crypto to the local currency. Now, you have more countries adopting cryptocurrencies. Thailand is just one of them, right? Obviously, Dubai and Puerto Rico are some of the main crypto hubs because they're tax benefits. But now you have Thailand. Now you have, I'm assuming El Salvador and others are going to follow suit. But eventually, you're going to have the United States and other countries as well introduce pro-crypto laws. So it's only a matter of time. But props to Thailand for launching this program, which allows tourists to convert their crypto to local currency. So again, just one more country to be added into the long list for crypto adoption. Also, you have Michael Saylor buying $50 million worth of Bitcoin. Nothing crazy there. You have Trump's administration actually taking a 10% stake in Intel. So keep an eye on this, guys. The government's actually looking to take more of a stake in other companies. And so you can imagine that their stock is going to outperform in the near future because Trump isn't stupid, right? He's a businessman. So if he's investing 10% into a company via the government, that tells you that that company is most likely going to do good because he's not going to invest to lose money, right? He invested in Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., and look where those are right now. So in my opinion, Intel is probably going to have a nice little run over the next few months. Then you have Treasury Secretary Bessent saying crypto stablecoins will expand dollar access for billions across the globe. This is very bullish for Ethereum, and let me explain why. Is Ethereum, the stablecoins are run on the Ethereum network, so USDT and USDC. What happens when people use those stablecoins? They need to use Ethereum for gas. What happens when ETH is used for gas? It becomes deflationary via the EIP 1559 mechanism. So if you have this adoption of stablecoins, you have the Genius Act that was passed into law, also known as the Stablecoin Bill, July 18th. And so now you're having more people transact with stablecoins on the Ethereum network. It's just going to be more bullish for Ethereum. Not to mention, you have BlackRock applying for the Ethereum staking ETF a few months ago, which that's going to get passed by Q4, I believe. And at that point, you're going to have institutions restaking their Ethereum over and over to get more APY. So there's just a lot of bullishness for Ethereum, guys. That's why we're seeing ETF flows agree, and we're having more institutions investing in Ethereum versus Bitcoin, which we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, great to see on that front. You also have Treasury Secretary Bessent saying they'll use tariff revenue to pay down the U.S. debt. So good to see on that front. Then also you have SEC Chair Paul Atkins discussing Project Crypto at the Wyoming Blockchain Symposium. So you have all these top Congress people and these top SEC chairs discussing crypto now. Remember, Paul Atkins ran the initiative or is leading the initiative for Project Crypto, which is something that was introduced at the end of July. Now he's continuing to expand that. And there's actually other initiatives that we'll talk about in a minute of what they're introducing. And then we have the SEC Commissioner, Hester Pierce, saying we welcome small early stage crypto projects to meet with us in Chicago on September 15th. So now you're seeing the SEC open its arms to these new crypto projects deregulating, adopting these new initiatives like Project Crypto. Guys, this is why I'm so bullish on crypto and why I believe we're going to have an extended cycle until May 2026 in a 250K Bitcoin. It's because of things like these where you have the SEC literally telling you to your face, hey, come meet with us. Let's meet. Hey, here's an initiative I'm leading, literally called Project Crypto. Hey, we're working to make the US the crypto capital of the world. Like, guys, I don't know how much more obvious you can make it that things are just getting started. So please, please, please keep an eye on that because things will only accelerate from here. Also, you have Wyoming becoming the first U.S. state to launch its own stablecoin. So Wyoming is historically known for businesses for a privacy aspect, and now they're becoming the first U.S. state to launch their own stablecoin. Very bullish. Also, you have Congressman Marjorie Taylor calling to completely abolish property taxes. And so if people have more money, right, they're saving money on property taxes, where do you think they're going to invest that money? It's extra discretionary income. They can invest that in crypto or other positive assets like the stock market. So we'll have to see what happens with that. You also have the SEC Chair Paul Atkins creating a framework that future-proofs crypto markets against regulatory mischief. So again, more pro-crypto laws. And then also you have the UK inflation rising to 3.8%, but they're actually reaching a deal with the US. And so I'll go over that in a minute, but the UK is actually reaching a trade deal with the US, which is another benefit of the tariffs. Now, Goldman Sachs is saying potential market for crypto stablecoins is in the trillions of dollars, what I mentioned earlier, for why it's bullish for Ethereum. And then also you have the Federal Reserve Governor Waller saying stablecoins and other cryptocurrencies are part of a payments revolution. So you have these people from the CFTC, the Federal Reserve, the Fed chair. I mean, literally everyone in our government is bullish on crypto. So I don't know what else to say, is there is a ton of bullish news. Also, this is what I was talking about here. United States announces a trade deal with the European Union, imposing a 15% tariffs and $750 billion investment deal. So this is why Trump's tariffs are bullish in the short term, because here's the thing. He announces the tariffs on, let's say, 15 countries. Initially, people sell because it's bearish. But eventually, it becomes its own bullish catalyst because there's trade deals that are reached. And so it's only a matter of time before these trade deals are reached, and then it becomes another bullish catalyst, right? At this point, I think people are basically muted to all the tariff news, and so it doesn't have as big of an effect. But nonetheless, anytime you announce a trade deal, that is bullish for the market. Also, you have Jerome Powell, and one of his biggest things, which I'll talk about in a minute, of his recent announcements. So here you said the DOJ says it will not target developers that create decentralized crypto platforms without criminal intent. So there, again, the DOJ is also helping to adopt cryptocurrency and not targeting developers that don't have criminal intent. You also have the CFTC launching the Crypto Sprint initiative to advance President Trump's digital assets agenda. Guys, the government's going all in on crypto, I'm telling you. Then also, we had Kanye West launch a token. I hope none of you guys lost money on this. And this is another thing I want to take a slight pause for, is anytime celebrities launch tokens, guys, they're going to rug. The token's going to pump and it's going to dump. And for one reason only, is one, it's a max extractionary event, but two, there's always insiders. There's always people who have the early contract address that always invest before, that always make millions, and then they dump on you and use you as exit liquidity. That is the only reason, right? A lot of these celebrities already have money, so why are they launching tokens? It's for their friends, their family, other exchanges, to grease other people's pockets. You're not part of those people, right? Now, yes, Kanye West token did go up 2x before dumping, but you just need to take your profit as soon as possible and then get out. For any celebrity token, I don't care who it is, it always follows the same pattern. So please, please keep that in mind. And also there is, in addition to this real quick, is Cristiano Ronaldo is expected to release a token. There's been a ton of rumors about that. And so people don't know if he's going to launch on BNB or Solana because he is partnered with Binance. And so we'll have to wait on that. But again, even that token, guys, just please, please be careful. And then some big news. So Jerome Powell is suggesting the current conditions may warrant interest rate cuts. Remember we were talking about in the market update how we were looking for the Jackson Hole meeting in Wyoming because Jerome Powell was speaking there August 22nd, and it would give an overview, an outlook of what he's thinking for the September 17th rate cuts. Well, not only did he say they'll be open to rate cuts, but he actually said they'd be flexible for shifting policy. What does that mean? The last time that they shifted policy like this was during COVID. And we know what happened after that. The money printer turned on, Stimulus was everywhere, and the market pumped 2020 and 2021. And so that's what I believe is happening right now. I believe the Fed is going to become more flexible. The money printer is going to turn on. They're going to start stimulating the economy. And then you're going to see, on top of that, interest rates being cut, quantitative tightening ending, and the entire market pumping. Now, with that said, people are going to front run this news. I guarantee you. It already happened a little bit. I believe the beginning of September, we're going to see a pump about a week to a week and a half. And then we're going to see some chop. After rate cuts happen, it's going to be a decline for at least a month. And then afterwards, we'll start to see that Q4 rally, mid to end October. So guys, it's only a matter of time before we see this come into full effect and we really see that money start to be injected into the market. So very, very bullish for the market. Now, we have 203 viewers. I believe it's an all-time high for concurrent viewers and only 60 likes. If you guys could like the stream, that'd be awesome. Really, really appreciate it. If you guys aren't following the free Telegram group, it's in the description. If you want to join the Jim Hunters Premium, in the description as well. 1 Ethereum for a yearly subscription. And then also the BloFin referral link is in the description as well. But some more news items. Canada to remove retaliatory tariffs on many U.S. products. This is what I was talking about, guys, is you had the EU having a trade deal with the U.S. Now you have Canada removing retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. products. And so these tariffs that Trump is imposing, they just turn into trade deals and benefits down the line. And so now we're starting to see that. It's starting to be a cascading effect. Also, we have the government confirming that they own a 10% stake in Intel. And then also, we have Eric Trump predicting Bitcoin will surpass $175,000 this year and calls himself a Bitcoin maxi. I don't know if we'll reach 175K. I'm predicting 150K. But nonetheless, I do believe we are going to reach 150K Bitcoin and 6K Ethereum by the end of the year. So keep an eye on that. Screenshot this, voice record this, because it is going to happen. Then you have Metaplanet buying another $12 million worth of Bitcoin to now they hold over $2.2 billion worth. Metaplanet, for those who don't know, is the MicroStrategy of Japan. They consistently buy Bitcoin every week, and they are accumulating more, and it's good to see. Now, we also have Grayscale filing for the Avalanche AVAX ETF. So more of these companies are filing for ETFs. And one of the reasons why we saw AVAX outperform recently is because, one, you had Grayscale filing for it, so accumulating more. But also you have these other altcoins like Link, Doge, Litecoin, and others that have ETFs filed. Now, the next ETF that will get approved will be Solana. And then after that, we'll see the Ethereum staking ETF get approved and then potentially other altcoins. But now we're starting to see institutions really start to invest and get involved with these various altcoins, which is great to see. Also, you have Michael Saylor buying $342 million worth of Bitcoin. He's always buying the highs, the lows, it doesn't matter. Great to see on that front. And then you have Gemini launching their XRP credit card, which I've been told this is just a marketing gimmick because their current Bitcoin card, you can choose what you want your percentage back in. If you want it in Bitcoin, XRP, or another cryptocurrency. So yeah, but nonetheless, for those who want the Gemini card, you get 4% back in gas, EV, and transit, 3% on dining, 2% on groceries, and then 1% on everything else. And you can choose what cryptocurrency you get it back in. This is just the XRP labeling if you want to get it back in XRP. But again, the Bitcoin card should be able to redeem in XRP as well. And then here you have Trump saying the U.S. will reduce drug prices by 1,500%. So when drug prices are lower, people are going to have more discretionary income. Again, they may invest in risk on assets like stocks and crypto. Then also you have the U.S. government to take ownership in more companies. So guys, it's not just Intel now. Whatever companies they invest in, I'd assume those will do pretty well. So look to invest in those in the stock market. Maybe take out some 6-month options, 1-year options, and bet on it, right? Because you know Trump and the government is going to pump whatever they're invested in because they're not in this market to lose money. So great to see on that front. A lot of good news there. Now, let's go ahead and look at the questions. Again, guys, if you aren't following me on X at the CryptoData, really appreciate it. I provide you guys the best content and keep you guys apprised of the latest news. Now, let's go ahead. There's a lot of good questions here. So let's go ahead and answer them. And then I'll go over some more things in the market, such as the S&P and the dollar, and then as well as overview with inflows, ETF flows, and then technical analysis for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and others. All right, let's see. Ooh, a lot of good questions here. All right. John says, protein bar, glass of water. Yes, John, it's exactly what I have. Actually, funny enough. Too funny, guys. Love you guys. All right. Jessica said from Canada. Awesome. Love the Canadians. All right. Let's go ahead. And John says historically September's been bearish. Exactly. Yep. Expecting mid-September to be bearish. All right. Let's see. Rocks, what's going on? Good to see you here. Abhishek, recently I studied about the moon phases and I also backtested it. The data says that after the new moon, the next 15 days are going to be bearish and the next full moon comes and things up for 15 days. So Abhishek, good point. And guys, for those who don't know, I was talking about the new moon that was coming. It was August 22nd or 23rd. It actually happened August 23rd, early in the morning at 2 a.m. EST. But you can see how that predicted the drop. Like it predicted the drop perfectly for the new moon. And so it acts off human emotions and there's other factors at play as well. But you have to be able to widen your perspective of what's possible and what's predictive in this market. The new moon has an effect and it works 70% of the time, moon phases. So the full moon is bullish, new moon is bearish. So Abhishek, thanks for that analysis there. Let's see, Ghost Protocol says loud and clear. Awesome. Charles, I'm currently in a 4-day fast. What do you suggest I should take when breaking the fast? Charles, great question. And guys, for those who don't know, I love talking about health as well while we're talking about crypto because I believe health is wealth and you need to have your mind and body right in order to trade right. So to answer your question, Charles, I would look at getting a chicken or bone broth to break your fast. So that would give you some good electrolytes, give you some good recharge, some protein. So have a chicken or bone broth and then wait 30 minutes. And then after that, ease in with some eggs that are cooked in extra virgin cold pressed olive oil. So have, maybe 1 or 2 eggs, and then you can combine some cooked spinach in there. And then other than that, make sure you have obviously salt and stuff in there, and then avocado as well. So no carbs. You don't want to spike your insulin too crazy. So just 1 or 2 eggs with extra virgin olive oil, spinach, and then avocado. And then after that, the next day, you can incorporate some fruits like some strawberries, watermelon, etc. Again, you don't want to spike your insulin too much. Then after that, start incorporating some eggs again. Then maybe, eggs and fruit, right? And then after that, you can start incorporating bigger meals by the 3rd or 4th meal. So, let's see. John says, place limit buys on support levels. Yeah, you definitely could. Eswar, ACD, hope you're doing well. I just want to say that I think I just completed my 3 rounds of interviews and got shortlisted for a job for which I'll be getting an offer in a week or 2. Eswar, that's so awesome. Love that. Congrats, by the way. Yeah, guys, you just got to be motivated. Apply for those jobs and do not stop because eventually you will get them. Alexander, hello, General Luca. Hope everyone doing well. What's going on, Alexander? Amy says, hi, Luke. So yeah, my name is actually John Luke. So I'm not Luke Belmar. I do sound like him, but I am not him, funny enough. Greenland did the same. Awesome. John, smart move for alt season. We'll have to see, right? So alt season is probably going to start mid-October. Eswar, and I have a service bond of 2 years. So how do you think I should be managing my time now with the trading from this year and upcoming years? So just manage it to where it's not too much for you, Eswar. So make sure that, maybe 30 minutes or an hour a day for trading, but don't let it stress you out. But just make sure that you're still keeping up with the market. Amy says, which meme for 10x by December? Phew, I wish I knew that question, or wish I knew that answer, Amy. Mohammed, Sol USD, please. Yep, we'll go over that in a minute. Imad, what's going on? Nikusha, what's the reason for the BTC dump? Just went over it on my X account at the CryptoData. You follow me there, you'll see I reposted a news article about a whale that sold over 2.7 billion worth of Bitcoin. And they actually bought Ethereum with that and staked it on Hyperliquid. Titan says, for how many years have you been learning crypto? For 8 years. I've been in since May of 2017. So over 8 years. Mattis says, how do you see DOT this bull run? What's the target? What price? Best to buy or just buy now? I'm not bullish on DOT. Thoughts on FWOG? No thoughts on it. Amy says Bitcoin to 29 million. Holy, Amy is definitely, Amy is very bullish there. Charles, what are the perfect levels for buying ETH, Sol, Hype, Sui? I'll answer that later on. Mirza, ACD, is the risk reward ratio of your trades get messed up because you take 50% of the position out at TP1 when you still got TP2 and 3 ahead of you? How much of the risk reward ratio do you take for each TP? Yeah, Mirza, so I do 50% on TP1, 25% TP2, and 25% TP3. Pedro says, let's see. I just joined the stream. Have you disclosed the Solana trade? Are we waiting to see Sol closes at 198 on the daily? Yes. Yeah, I'm still waiting on that, Pedro. Greenland government is literally saying we want to learn. Exactly. The government's full arms, guys. Open arms. So make sure you guys are taking advantage of that. As far, I was sad and was having anxiety attacks before I didn't have a full-time job, but now I feel like I really do have to do a job. Eswar, I'm glad at least you're finding your purpose now. And again, guys, anxiety is just your brain in overdrive and overthinking everything. So live in the present, focus on the baby steps, focus on your goals, and just start achieving them, right? It could be as small as making your bed, washing your clothes, washing the dishes. But guys, baby steps will turn into positive outcomes. It all starts with one small step. Positive habits do compound, I promise you. Eswar, man, this matrix stuff honestly sucks, but we got to grind and find ourselves out of it. Exactly, guys. You got to put in the work if you want to become a millionaire. I promise you, everyone here can become a millionaire if they're willing to put in the work. The opportunity is there. AI is literally at the precipice of having an exponential run, and there's so many ways to make money. So don't give up, guys. You can make it, I promise you. Lahel says, thank you for all this amazing stuff. My question, I got 6,000 USD. Would you put some in spot or use it all for futures? No, I would definitely put some in spot, 100%. Like I would use maybe 20% of that for leverage trading, and then 10% of that for meme coin trading, 10% of it in stables, and then, and then 60% in spot. So 60% spot, 20% leverage, 10% memes, and 10% in stables. Greenland, abolish capital gain tax. Yes, please. If the US does that, crypto is sending to the stratosphere. S4, also CD, is there liquidity for ETH at 4.2K, 4.3K, and 4K? So do you think it's going to hit those levels because RSI can be oversold and curve upwards, right? Yeah, I think those are good levels as well. 4.3K and 4K. Mirza, are you bearish or bullish for the next 1 to 3 weeks? Bearish for the next week, bullish for the next week afterwards, and then bearish for the week after that. So it's literally going to be flip-flopping for the next 3 weeks. Amy says, Yeezy right now. Yeah, the money, right? That cash symbol. Eswar says, also, will the August month close in red or green with 6 days left? Hard to say, Eswar. We're going to have to check that out. Cena says, short celebrity coins, you'll never lose. There you go. Islam, guys, can I start with $0? Well, everyone starts from somewhere, so just start making money however you can. Part-time job, things online, and then slowly invest that into crypto. Eric, Bitcoin CME gap on the 1 hour and 4 hour at 117K. I'll need to double check that. Mirza, so the front running of the rate cuts is already over, or is the pump done? No, I think front running is going to happen first week of September. Amy, Michael Saylor strategy buys 3,000 Bitcoins with 342 million. Yep. Lino, what should be a proper crypto portfolio diversification? If I had to guess, or not guess, but 30% Bitcoin. Let's see, no. Yeah, 30% Bitcoin, 20% Ethereum, 10% Solana, 10% Hype, and maybe 10% Sui, and then whatever else you want to diversify it into. Thoughts on FWOG? No thoughts on FWOG. But it may not be a bad token, though. It may not be a bad token. Clipper, what are your thoughts on ETH right now? Should we keep the long open? I mean, totally up to you at that point, right? Because ETH absolutely sent. Now it's coming back to support. So, yeah, I mean, 4,300 is support and 4K is support. So just make sure you secure your profits. Chosen One says, thanks for the info. Hey, no problem. Claudio, if rate cuts signal a bad economy, then do you think the market makers could need to distribute before any real economic downturn so they take the prices higher, making everyone think rate cuts will be? It's possible, Claudio, 100%. Like, there's all kinds of mind manipulation and front running going on. And so at the end of the day, we know the money printer is going to turn on, so we know eventually everything's going to pump. And so while, yes, rate cuts signal the economy is bad, it does still mean that it's injecting money into the economy to make it better. As far as says, 1 Bitcoin a year is a 6-figure salary. Exactly. Claudio, bullish for the markets has moved deeper in the current risk environment. Yes. Yang, is this voice AI? No. And Yang, I actually want to know, I think you're probably the 5th person that's asked if the voice is AI. Let me know why you think the voice is AI. Very, very curious on that. It's hilarious, though. I love it. Greenland, tariffs work. There you go. Crick says, who is the legendary speaker? This is CryptoData. So this is my X account, at the CryptoData. So if you guys haven't followed me on X, definitely do so. I make sure to give you guys the best info I can. So definitely follow me on there, and I will keep you guys apprised of the market. All right, so let's see. Amy, 162K. There you go. By the end of the year, I think 150K, but yeah, I could see 150 to 175. Junior says all-time high. Yep. All right, let's see. Ooh, a lot of questions, guys. You guys are on fire. Bundy says, hey, quote, Luke, how are you doing, buddy? Big thanks to you, man. Love from Kenya. Let's look at that XRP chart. Hey, Bundy, good to see you here. So funny. So funny, guys. You guys are comparing me to Luke Belmar. I love it. Mirza, what are your thoughts on mid and small cap tokens right now? Good time to buy spot holdings. Good time to leverage right now. Not many oversold. It's a little risky on alts, to be honest, Mirza. I'd wait for a reset on the charts, and we'll go over it in technicals, but a lot of charts are oversold or overbought right now on the daily. Claudio says, all-time high viewers on the stream. Could this be a sign retail's coming in? Hey, I'm all here for it, right? If retail's coming in, let's get those prices higher. Yeah, guys, 216 viewers on the live stream. This is amazing. If you guys could like the stream, I'd really, really appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching. Again, I try to share, guys, the best content I can. So always appreciate it when people spend their time to watch my live streams. And as always, if you guys aren't following me on X at the CryptoData, really appreciate that as well. Pollo Locos has 150K Bitcoin, 6K Ethereum, and Solana and XRP predictions for the year. Yeah, so 150K Bitcoin by the end of the year, 6K Ethereum for Solana, 350 to 500, and then XRP, $5 to $6. Greenland, what month do you expect Sol ETF approval? XRP is a joke, asked Luke. Yeah, I know Luke isn't bullish on XRP. What month do I expect Sol ETF approval? Probably first or second month of Q4. So October and November. X says, what are the best coins to bid on in September on a pullback? I would bid on the strong ones, right? Ethereum, Solana, Hyperliquid, and then maybe Sui. I know that Link could be a good one as well because it had that run a couple weeks back, or just a week back. So Link may not be bad. And maybe HBAR because it's a good US-based cryptocurrency, which Trump administration has been floating the idea of no capital gains tax on US-based cryptocurrencies, at least in the beginning of the year. We'll have to see. Magic says, is this a Sol bottom? I hope so, Magic, because we're waiting for it to close above 198 on the daily. So hopefully it does. I mean, the daily closes in, what, 5.5 hours? So we'll have to see. Amy says, can Sol do $1,000? It's possible, yeah. I know Luke is looking for 1,000 for Solana. Akuma, what would be a realistic peak target for Brett this cycle? Oof, I haven't looked at Brett too much. Hard to say. Maybe a $2 to $5 billion market cap. The Raid Boss, thoughts on FWOG? Yeah, I mean, I guess tentatively bullish on it. But other than that, no opinion. Amy, thoughts on Aura? No opinion on that. Magic says Sol will definitely go to $600. Very, very possible. That boy Adrian, what's better in your opinion, the Gemini credit card or the Coinbase One credit card? You know, Adrian, I actually forgot what the terms were of the Coinbase credit card. Gemini isn't bad, though. I mean, 4% back on gas, that's pretty good, and 3% back on dining. So there are other credit cards that are probably better, but if you're fairly new into the credit card game and want to earn some extra crypto, it wouldn't be bad. So yeah, I would have to look at the Coinbase One, actually. But I would say whatever works best for your lifestyle, right? Because here's the biggest thing, guys. With credit cards, never spend them based on the percentage you get back. Meaning, if something's, 4% back on dining, but you usually don't go out to eat, well, don't just do that just to get the 4% back. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure it lines up with your lifestyle naturally. Amy says, this cycle, can Sol do 1,000 this cycle? It's possible. It's possible. Anything's possible, honestly. Yeah. So I would say the chance of it happening, maybe 15% chance. Sabo, what's going on? Magic, Fog, Aura, OG memes. There you go. Claudio, I saw a post earlier saying Ethereum pumping generally marked the local top for most cycles. Is this true? So Ethereum pumping, usually a week or two after, you have other altcoins pumping, and then after that, that marks the top. But we're in a very different environment with with ETF flows, the government getting involved, countries getting involved. So again, the whole this time is different meme is actually coming to fruition this time around. Clip or ETH long that's open, should we take profits? Yeah, if you feel like there's gonna be volatility over the next few days, yeah, taking profits isn't bad. You could create a stop loss as well below major support levels. Well, what's your margin ratio in trading? So usually I'll trade 5 to 10x leverage. What's going on, Darren? Good to see you here. Chosen Ones, thanks for the info. Hey, no problem. Adrian says, I think Coinbase has a higher cashback percentage. In that case, Adrian, probably Coinbase. Ben, I have a long on Sol. I took it 203. Should I hold this position? So our stop loss is a daily close below 198 on Solana. So the daily closes in 5.5 hours. I understand that Solana can be a lot lower. Solana can be, 190 by that time. You could lose a lot more money. So if you want to preemptively close it, you can, because we have crossed below that trend line support. But I'm waiting for a daily close below. And that's another reason why you only invest what you can afford to lose, and you're trading low leverage to manage your risk accordingly. Adam, what do you think about Ton ecosystem? I'm neutral on it. Mr. Robinson, afternoon data. Hope all's well, brother. Hey, Mr. Robinson, good to see you as always. Islam, I have no money. Islam, you got to earn some money. Part-time job, online job. There's always a way to earn money. Even selling stuff on eBay or Amazon. There's different ways to make it. Well, 100%. So if you put 100 euro, but it's 3x, you do 300. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, so basically for leverage, if you're trading 100 euro and you're trading on 3x leverage, then that means technically you're trading with $300. So if price goes up 10%, then 10% of 300, basically means that you're earning 30%, right? So 10% of 300 is $30. So you just made $30. That's an easy way to think about it. Islam, what can I do if I have no money? Make some money online. Carson, what's the move on Pengu? Long near 2.84 cents. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's see. Ghost Rider, soon. Vasilj, 3x long on Bitcoin and hold till the end of the week of September. Till the first week of September. You could do that. But I would place longs on Bitcoin between 108 to 110K if you can get it. Yang says, do you like ducks? Ducks are fine. Claudio, a lot of people expecting Q3 to be bearish, but post-halving years, Q3 has been bullish for the most part. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, so August has historically been bullish, but then September has been bearish. And so that's the only caveat I would say with that. Ben, did we see Sol above 200 again in December? Oh, yeah, we definitely do. Let's see. Ikigai Mindset says, how can we join the channel? Yep, I'll post it. Just follow me on X and follow my Telegram on there too. Tim, a bunch of people are mad about what they think is market manipulation. Thoughts? I mean, you have a guy that's selling $2.7 billion worth of Bitcoin, so at the end of the day, people are free to do what they want. But yeah, there's obviously market manipulation. I mean, you know what they say, no crying in the casino. So you just have to adapt. Hey, Brian, what's going on? Good to see you. Greenland, never doubt astrology, astronomy. Exactly. Adrian, this market flush reminds me of the one we had in March of this year where Bitcoin went from 72 to 76K and went to print all-time highs. Exactly. Adrian knows. Adrian knows. And then Raid Boss says, thoughts on FWOG for the 6th time? Yep, already talked about FWOG. Bigos, ACD, do you think we get to close the CME gap before moving further down? Thanks for your work. So the CME gap you were talking about, 117K. I'll have to check that out. It's possible, though. Razik, if I hold $600, can this be enough to join your group and make some good amount of money? Yes. Adam, what do you think about the ton ecosystem? I'm neutral on it. Ghost Rider, Data, did you call out the 200X and Gym Hunters? So, no, that wasn't me who called it. It was another meme coin caller, but that was an amazing call, though. Botified, if I'm just starting crypto, should I only focus on trading futures on BloFin? And what should I be educating myself on to stay up to date and to know what I should be trading? Great question, Botified. So when you're starting out in crypto, learn technical analysis first and foremost. So learn how to draw support and resistance lines. If you guys don't know how, go to the Gym Hunters YouTube channel, which you guys should be subscribed to this channel if you aren't. Click on the live tab and then go to the third video from the bottom, and it's called Technical Analysis Basics. Watch that video. It's over an hour long. You guys will learn how to draw support and resistance lines after that. So go and watch that. I'd recommend doing that first. And then I'd recommend following reputable people on X and YouTube. So people like myself, CryptoData, people like Gym Hunters, and then people on X besides myself also follow Into Cryptoverse. This guy is one of the smartest guys I know in crypto, Benjamin Cohen. Follow him. He's very, very good. Into Cryptoverse. And then, and I'll actually, I'll post our accounts, right? So let me go ahead and post. So accounts to follow on X. So you have myself, you have Benjamin Cohen, and then accounts. Definitely follow that, which the search box is not. Oh, there we go. Yeah, if you guys aren't following the official Gym Hunters account, definitely do so. Follow the X account. Post a lot of good updates on there as well. But yeah, guys, follow those people and learn how to draw support and resistance levels. And then honestly, you can even ask ChatGPT, right, to help increase your knowledge. But yeah, if you follow those people, you get started on that, then you'll be good to go. Let's see. And also, yeah, join the groups, right? The free group to the Gym Hunters Telegram in the description. Paid group in the description as well. 1 Ethereum for a yearly subscription. Go over meme coin calls, leverage calls, altcoin calls, live streams, concierge service, etc. And then also have the BloFin referral link. And then also follow me on X and you have my group as well. So again, guys, a lot of content that you guys have to use. Let's see. Solana, Medzio, I'll go about that as well. X says, so you think September will be bullish in the first half and bearish the other half? Yeah. V says, do you think XRP going to be the American digital coin? It's possible because XRP is a US-based cryptocurrency and the founder, Brad Garlinghouse, is very close with the government. S4 says, chicken and bone broth. Ha, I see you, CD, watching David Lay videos. That's funny. So yeah, so David Lays, he's a good guy. But yeah, I was looking at a few others I actually was asking ChatGPT when I was breaking my fast, and it told me that, funny enough. Ed says, what's your conservative targets for ETH and Bitcoin by the end of the cycle? ETH, 6K, Bitcoin, 150K. Raid Boss. So I already told you my thoughts on FWOG. I already said no thoughts on it, but I have seen it gain some traction, so it may be a good pick. Akshay says, open World Liberty long position at 1x leverage. Thoughts? I mean, not bad, but, you know, just keep in mind that World Liberty is going to be very, very volatile. It's going to launch, I believe, September 1st. I know there's a lot of people in it, including the Tate brothers and a few other people. So, yeah, we'll have to see. It's going to be volatile, though, that's for sure. Medzio says, I bought 50K Solana at 195.48. Awesome. Amy, oh, you sound like Luke Belmar. How funny. You're only the 150th person to say that. So, we'll have to get Luke and myself on a stream together. That way you guys can see the difference. It's so funny, though. Mirza, do you expect Bitcoin and ETH to drop further in the next 1 to 2 weeks? Potentially, yes. Kim, all-rounded live stream, health and crypto. Love it. Hey, appreciate that, Kim. I try to give you guys a good, you know, synopsis of not only health, but also crypto and life in general, because I believe we're all in this, you know, on this planet to succeed. So why not help each other out as best we can? Magic says, hello, bro. I want your opinion on what's the support levels in Sol. So Solana, the biggest support level is going to be 180, 173, and 165. Ghostwriter says, data is actually AI, by the way. You're right, Ghostwriter, I am. The jig is up. Beep, beep, bop, bop. Islam, what can I do if I have no money? So Islam, that's the fifth time you've asked that question. Look for ways to make money online. Ask ChatGPT. You literally have a free AI bot to answer any question you have. So go to ChatGPT and ask how to make money. That will answer all your questions. Yang says, breathe, sir. Yang, I just have a lot of information. I want to communicate it as clearly as possible, but also be able to communicate it effectively because I have so much that we need to cover in this stream. Alex says, do you spend a lot of time with Luke? Y'all sound so similar. So we spent time in Singapore, Dubai, Miami, a lot of places. And so I've watched a lot of his videos as well. So I think a lot of his mannerisms I do have. And potentially the voice too. His voice is a little bit more bass than mine does. But yes, we very much do sound alike. Medzio says, John, what can we see in the next 2 weeks in market, mainly Solana? Probably some chop over the next week and then some pump the beginning of September. X says, have you heard about the theory that you should adapt your diet according to your blood type? And what do you think about that? I actually haven't heard about that, X. I need to check that out. Thanks for reminding me. That's actually a good point you're making there. Lino, what should be a proper crypto portfolio diversification? So I went over that earlier, but Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Hype, and maybe Link, Sui, and XRP. Alex, thoughts on more Liberty Fi? Tentatively bullish. There's so many people backing it, but it's going to be volatile. Ed, is it best to buy spot at 100-day or 20-week EMA? So it's best to buy spot at the 200-day EMA. Minia says, how old are you? I'm older than 20, but younger than 40. Yang, thoughts on BNB? I'm bullish on it. I think it'll hit $1,000 before the end of the year. EF says, XRP bullish? I think so. Medzio says, damn, 8 years is crazy. What's your age? So yeah, I've been in crypto for 8 years. I'm over 20, but under 40. So you guys can do that math. Akuma, what would be a realistic peak target for Brett this cycle? Peak target for Brett this cycle? Yeah, 2 to 4 billion. Let's see, John Luke, yes, I got my answer. Thanks. Hey, no problem, Cricks. Amy says, wash your clothes. Hey, Amy, anything positive, right? You just got to get positive habits. And again, everything adds up. Abhishek says, closed all positions at 211 on Solana. Now I'm laughing with my profit. There you go, Abhishek. Mirza, you misunderstood my question about the risk-reward ratio. I wanted to know the average risk-reward ratio of your trades. Oh, from TP1 to TP3. Oh, gotcha. So Mirza, so for the risk reward ratio for the first take profit, that's at least a 1-to-1. I like to make it a 1-to-2 though, if possible. And then for TP2, it's usually a 1-to-3, and then TP3 is usually a 1-to-4. So yeah, between 1-to-2 and 1-to-4, I like to make those take profits accordingly. Nature says, how much money do I need to follow your signals? So for the Gym Hunters group and the premium group, it's 1 Ethereum for a yearly subscription, or we post in the free group as well. Benja says, how much would you risk per trade with a 1K account? Only 5 to 10%, Benja. So only $50 to $100 max. Darren says, Data, what are your thoughts on M&T considering their partnership with Bybit? So M&T was outperforming a lot over the past week. And so I think it's bullish. I think M&T is going to be bullish long term. Adam says, about ton, some thoughts, please. I'm neutral on ton. If you're looking at long ton, I would wait till 310. 310 and 295. D-Tech, do you look for long fart at this price? I'll have to look at the chart in a minute. El Hussein, should I go all in on futures trading with $600 USD in crypto? No, I'd only put in 20% of that in a futures trading. Bromes, are we going bullish on September? Bullish for the first week in September. Also, guys, we have 178 viewers and only 102 likes. If you guys could like the video, like the live stream, that would help so much. Stanley, what coin do you think will give the biggest ROI for the upcoming alt rally mid-October? Biggest ROI for that? Great question. I would say... all right. So the biggest ROI, Stanley, that's a good question. Maybe Hyperliquid, Ethereum, or Solana. Botify, when you say 60% spot, are we just holding that forever? Holding that until the cycle top, which I believe is May 2026. But take profits along the way. Like take profits by the end of October, end of December, and then near April or May. 33% of each. Emod, what do you think about ETH? Can it crush the 10K level? Yeah, I think 10 to 15K for Ethereum cycle end is very possible. Adrian, World Liberty Fi consolidating around 20 to 21 cents. Feel like September will be bullish for this coin. It very well could be. I've seen it actually be around that level for a while, so it may not be a bad level to look at. Lino, what are altcoins? Altcoins are everything besides Bitcoin. Adrian, big Solana pump entering September? Maybe. Actually, Adrian, you did remind me. Thanks for reminding me. There is a lot of treasury companies actually buying Solana. $500 million to $2.5 billion worth in September. So yes, Solana will be bullish September. Amy Rose says, Luke Belmar AI voice. Oh, the jig is up, Amy. You caught me. I'm using the Luke Belmar AI voice to sound like AI. My voice is actually very, very high. So you caught me. Eswar, ETH is forming a trend line and using it as support on the 4-hour time frame. There you go. That boy Adrian says, everyone drop a like. Yes, please like the video, guys, if you like it. What meme coin are you in? Meme coins, not too many right now, to be honest. There's one called Awoke, A-W-O-K-E, that supposedly is going to have a lot of marketing in the near future. I'm in that one. That's really, and then Labubu on ETH, but those are the only two I'm in. Again, Awoke probably has a better chance, but we'll see. Awesome. Got the fire emojis. Got the penguins from Amy. Brian says retail ticker on the high. There you go. SWAR ETH altcoin chart almost bottomed out according to the Cryptoverse. Interesting. What that means, SWAR, and for people who don't know, is the ETH altcoin chart bottoming out means altcoins are going to perform better than ETH. So that's going to mean all your meme coins are going to start pumping. Jessica, receiving a substantial settlement, and I want to manage it wisely to grow and preserve the capital. Thinking, diversifying private banking, international accounts, business investments, real estate, and markets like stocks and crypto. Botify, should I put my spot holdings in a Phantom wallet or also use BloFin? So diversify your spot holdings in various assets or various places. So the top centralized exchanges like Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, Bybit, etc. And then hot wallets like MetaMask or Phantom, and then cold storage wallets like Ledger or Trezor, which I recommend Trezor. So I recommend diversifying into various places. That way your holdings aren't all in one spot. And yeah, include BloFin in that diversification as well. Elchin says, Ondo price prediction by the end of 2025, $2 to $3. Jessica, please give me your best advice regarding this. Anything on how to manage it well and grow my wealth and preserve it. So Jessica, congrats, by the way, on receiving a substantial settlement. So a couple ways I would manage that. You already nailed it, but I would say percentage in crypto, percentage in stocks, a percentage in real estate, a percentage in gold and silver, and then a percentage. Other than that, I mean, and then just holding some cash, right? But I would diversify it across Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. And then from there, maybe Hyperliquid if you want. But yeah, I would say at least 20% crypto, 20% stocks, 20% real estate, and then 20% gold and silver. And then for the last 20%, whatever you want. Just keep it in cash for a rainy day. Like, you always want to have discretionary income. But yeah, 80% should be in crypto, stocks, real estate, and gold and silver. That's a way to hedge your bets. And then the other 20%, maybe for some business ventures you want to start. But like I said, you should keep at least 10 to 20% for a rainy day fund, so you're not stressed out. Botified, should I put my spot holdings in a phantom wallet or also use... Oh, yeah, I already answered that. Let's see. Israel says, what are your top 3 altcoins? Ethereum, Solana, and Hype. Magic, thanks, bro. You're the best. Ain't no problem, Magic. Appreciate you. Adam says, thoughts on Dolan? No thoughts on it. Eswar, Bitcoin dominance looking like it's taking a support now. Exactly, Eswar. Yeah, Bitcoin dominance is bouncing off support, which it's probably got a few more days, which means alts are going to bleed. Kim says, what about AVAX? So AVAX, Kim, I'm still bullish on that. I know that Grayscale followed for the AVAX ETF. I'll go over that chart as well in a minute. Herc, what do you think about XLM? No thoughts on it. I mean, I guess if you're bullish on XRP, you got to be bullish on XLM. Claudio, thoughts on trend line from April's low that was broken when Bitcoin hit 112K, now acting as resistance at 116K, which would coincide with CME gap. You actually reminded me of something, Claudio. You actually reminded me of something, of a trend line on Bitcoin that we probably closed below on the weekly. I'll need to look at that. But yeah, that'd be interesting though. If, yeah, for the CME gap, most likely it's going to get filled. And Jessica, yeah, you could private message me on X. So if you guys aren't following me on X at the CryptoData, definitely do so. This is myself speaking, CryptoData. Real name, John Luke. But yeah, this is my account here. Now, if you guys want to speak with me, you can direct message me on X. I will never message you on Telegram. Please, any impersonators on Telegram, block them immediately. I will never direct message you on Telegram. I just want to say that as well. So be wary of scammers, guys. Anyone from Gym Hunters will never DM you. But yeah. Send me a message on X if you want to talk with me. Rami says, thoughts on SPX 6900? I'm bullish on it. Islam, let's see. Islam, you need to ask ChatGPT. It'll give you all the answers you want. Herc, what do you think about X? Yep, I heard that. Sala, 15% chance. Hey, you never know, right? You never know, Sala. 15% chance at $1,000. Claudio, have you seen the line graph for Bitcoin weekly time frame? I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, like a double top. I'll need to check that out. Teo, you mentioned companies buying Bitcoin. So if crypto pumps, for example, should we buy their stocks? How will this affect their stock prices? So yeah, good question. So there's companies like SharpLink Gaming, which is buying Ethereum, and they have a stock, right? So technically you could buy their stock. I would say if a company is adopting, like if they're starting to buy a lot of Bitcoin or Ethereum and you get in early to their stock, yes, it could provide lucrative returns. But like we've seen with MicroStrategy, eventually it does top out. And that euphoria fades. So just keep that in mind. Kim says, you think we're in a super cycle? I think so. I think people aren't ready for the altcoin season that's about to happen. Greenland, top for Link this year? Ooh, top for Link, $40 to $50. Herc, what do you think about XLM? Yep, already said about that. Neutral to bullish on it. Sala, Chase Freedom Flex is a good card to start with. 5% on rotating categories, 3% on dining, and Chase has that 524 rule, so they won't approve a card if you had more than 5 new accounts in the past 24 months. Sala, you are very smart in the credit card game like myself. I actually just started a bank account with Chase. I've had a bank account with Bank of America for a long time, but I started with Chase recently because they are, if you're looking to acquire a lot of wealth, Chase Bank is the way to go. And yeah, they do have a lot of good credit cards as well. Islam, brother said make money online while I have nothing. Islam, ask ChatGPT. You can literally do surveys for free and get paid for doing them. You need to change your mindset. Have an abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset. You'll make a lot more money that way. Alexander, best advice that you can give us from the top of the head. Best advice I can give you is if you fail to prepare, then you prepare to fail. So make sure you are preparing for life. Make sure you are focused on your health. I would say focus on your health is the best advice I can give you guys, because health is wealth. And so make sure you guys, your diet is on point, you're exercising, and you're either meditating or you're practicing good habits, but getting enough sleep is first and foremost for your health. So 7 to 8 hours plus. Then after that, stay organized. Have to-do lists. Have it set out the night before so you can be as productive as possible during the day. Then eat organic food, drink spring water from glass bottles or reverse osmosis water, or even water in a Brita water pitcher, but just stay away from tap water. Then also stay away from seed oils, stay away from color dyes like red dye, yellow 5, red 40, yellow 5, all that junk and candy. Stay away from that. Eat organic fruits, grass-fed meat. What else? Drink a lot of water. Yeah, exercise, meditate, and get a lot of sun too. So sleep, all that good stuff. And I promise you guys, your life will be much, much better. See, Jungle Boy says new sub. Awesome. Appreciate you. Let's see. AB, altcoins go up the first week of September. Yes. EF, do you have a trading bot on BloFin, a copy trading bot? So not myself personally. I do not have one, but maybe in the future. Kundalek, what price should we long Pangu USDT and what leverage? 2.84 cents at 5x leverage, but 3 to 5x. Craze says, why is September bearish? Just based off of seasonality, Craze. So if you go to the seasonality index for Bitcoin, September has historically been bearish prior to Q4. Q4 has historically been bullish. There's a lot more money, but usually it's because everyone's vacationing in the summer. So usually it's a lot of chop. Beltran, what do you think about the Ronaldo coin? Worth investing? Maybe quickly, but it's going to be a quick pump and quick dump. Jacob says, do you like Dolan? I'm indifferent on it. Lawless, you only lose if you sell. There you go. Just be careful, guys. Be careful with that mentality, especially if you're holding meme coins. Those things will go to zero. Claudio, how's your group coming along? It'd be cool to see a referral program where you could get 50% when you recommend someone to join. Yeah, Claudio, I'm actually going to have a 30% referral program, so stay tuned for that. Follow me on Telegram. Follow me on X. I'll keep you guys updated. Kevin, I've heard you mention Ray. If I'm not mistaken, you're bullish on it. If you are, why is that? It's just a great AI project. They're actually very, very tech forward on a lot of things they're building. One of my friends, he's a very smart developer, and he's extremely bullish on Ray. So also just the base chain in general is bullish. AB, can September be bullish until a day or two after the Fed cut rates? I think so. It's possible, yeah. But we're probably going to be chopping probably a week prior to the Fed cutting rates. Magic, when Pump Fund airdrop? Oh, that's too funny. Man, that Pump Fund token disappointed a lot of people. Adrian says, Tom Lee predicts ETH at the end of the year, 12 to 15K. So Tom Lee has historically been overly bullish, too bullish in the past. And so I'll take whatever he says with a grain of salt. Whatever targets he has, cut those in half. So I'll say 6K. 6K to 7.5K. Bromes, what are your thoughts on World Liberty Fi? Let's go ahead and check. I'm neutral to slightly bullish on it. Mirza, your strategy is about buying coins when they're oversold on the RSI stock side, but you entered sold trade without being oversold. We'd love to hear an elaborate explanation as to why you did that. Yeah, so Mirza, I explained this because it broke that long-term trend line. That was the big reason. So you have trend line breaks or others. That was the breakout strategy that I played. When will the bear run begin? May of next year. Luca, because your speak is the same, but in the higher voice like Luke, and it's really special to hear the same words used and when we don't see you. And the first thing came up is that Luke uses AI voice. I got you, Luca. Okay. That helps me understand why people think I sound like Luke or why it's like an AI voice. Let's see. Itch says, John, did you see the owner of Coinbase shill Balagis? Yeah, Balagis did crazy on base. That was a good coin. Bromes, if your thoughts on BNB is 1,000, could we TA on it? I'll look at TA. A lot of good questions, guys. Ghostwriter says, did you ever go over Bitcoin in stream earlier? Not yet. I will go over it in a minute. Just trying to answer all these questions. Can we see TA on BNB? Yep. A winner is just a loser who tried one more time. Exactly, Eswar. Maybe I missed it, but is stock hunting coming? Yeah, I'll go over that. Okay, guys. So let's go over that real quick because I've been answering a ton of questions. You guys had a lot of good questions. So let's go ahead and answer some stock stuff. And I'll go over Bitcoin and others after. But the stream is already going over. But again, there's so many people watching. I got to keep it going. So right now, the SPX 6453 reaching all-time highs. The RSI looks like it's curving to the downside. So maybe a little cool off on the stock market in the near future. We have gold as well. You know, it's going up a little bit. And the RSI looks like it still wants to cross above that signal line. So people buy gold as a hedge against inflation, a hedge against uncertainty. So that's why, again, we may see a little people taking a risk-off approach for now. Oil is at 65, so nothing crazy there between 60 and 70. Transportation costs are still at very healthy levels. Now, this is something to keep in mind is the DXY. So the DXY is curving to the upside, breaking its trend line here. So DXY is inversely correlated to Bitcoin. DXY means the strength of the dollar. So if the DXY rises, that means Bitcoin's going to fall and vice versa. So that's why we're also seeing Bitcoin decline, because we're seeing strength in the dollar. So just that inverse relationship happening. Now, real quick, going over the crypto market is right now Bitcoin is at 112.5K, down 1.6%. Ethereum is at 4,600. Now, if we look at the top gainers, Hype is doing very well, up 2.8%. Chronos 1.8%. So this is what you like to see, guys, is these tokens. Again, Hyperliquid is going up because historically, Hyperliquid uses its fees to buy back the token. So when people are liquidated, they earn a lot of fees, and they use that to buy back the Hype token. So if you're wondering why Hype is always bullish whenever the market's dropping, that's why. Just keep in mind, you do have some big unlocks for Hype by the end of November. The team is getting over $400 million worth of unlocks, and so that may be bearish. So just keep that in mind as you get closer to that date. Next, looking at on-chain data. So right now, we're seeing if money's flowing on-chain or off-chain. Ethereum is negative 2.9% versus yesterday. Solana is negative 3.9%. So still more people are focused on putting money on chain towards Ethereum versus Solana. The base chain is interesting though, because over the past month, you've seen TVL increase 12.9%. So still a respectable amount, but Hyperliquid is still leading the way as money continues to flow on chain towards that. Next, looking at the Fear and Greed Index is right in the middle near 50. Guys, this literally tells us we're in the middle of chop because it's not bullish or bearish, literally right down the middle. That's why I'm assuming we'll have at least a week of chop before the first week of September, until we may start seeing pumping and everyone front running the rate cut September 17th. Next, you also have ETF flows. So we had negative ETF flows on Friday for Bitcoin, negative 23 million, while Ethereum showed positive inflows of 337 million. That tells us institutions are buying Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So that gives you an idea of where the institutional flow and attention is focused. So in my opinion, depending on what the flows are today, we could see this continue. If Ethereum has positive flows today, we know where that money is at. But again, looking at that $2.7 billion worth of Bitcoin that was sold and invested in Ethereum, that should give you an idea where the big whales are focusing their capital. Next, looking at Bitcoin. So right now it's at 112.2K. You can see on the daily chart that it is approaching that support where it bounced off of August 3rd. In my opinion, this may fall through. Now, again, that next support level we had at 110K, it did bounce there whenever it had the flush yesterday. So that's a good level to bid in my opinion. And you can look at 108K as well, as there's a lot of attention and a lot of support near that level. Below that, you have 100. I mean, at that point, maybe 106K. But yeah, I would expect 108K to hold, maybe 107. But just keep in mind, you should be DCAing down at these levels. But the stock RSI is almost oversold, so we could have a bounce soon. But if you go to the weekly chart, the weekly doesn't look as good. So let's go ahead and pull that up. Is the weekly... Actually, the weekly is starting to approach oversold as well. I take that back. Ethereum, it doesn't look as good. So yeah, so we should start seeing a bounce on Bitcoin, especially if we have one more flush. So that's why I'm saying 112K for DCAing, and then 110K and 108K afterwards. Resistance-wise, 114K, which does coincide with our liquidity levels. Remember here on the 1-week heat map, or the 24-hour heat map, is there's a lot of liquidity near 114K. So the market makers could bring us back to the upside, tag that liquidity, and then maybe have another flush down. But nonetheless, I'm looking for a bounce in the near future to that 114K level, especially as the stock RSI is close to oversold. Next, looking at Ethereum. So this is why I said Ethereum's a little bit bearish on the weekly, because you see the stock RSI is overbought but crossing to the downside, while the RSI is overbought and also crossing to the downside. So maybe a further drop here in Ethereum. I would be looking to bid. I mean, there is some support at 44.90, but it's very loose. I would look to buy near 4,300 and then 40.60. So again, Ethereum still has some ways to go to the downside, in my opinion. I think that we definitely could see further decline, especially as the stock RSI is crossing below its signal line and the RSI rejected off of its signal line and crossing to the downside. So Ethereum does need a reset at least over the next week, if not longer than that. So yeah, I would still be bidding near 4,300 and 40.60. And then also, people were asking about what token. So I remember AVAX. We had some requests for AVAX. So that was at 20. So yeah, 2350 could be a good level to bid. And then below that, 1850. And if we want to, let me think. Yeah, so 2225 isn't a bad level either. So I'd watch that on the daily for AVAX. And then below that, 20, I would say near $20. Near $20 would be a good level there. So that's levels for AVAX with resistance at $25, $25.50, and then $26.10. Now, also, there was talks of BNB, if I could chart that. So we'll go ahead and check out BNB chart. So let's go ahead and, yeah, so wow, it reached $900. Amazing. Right now it's at 865. BNB is actually very good with respecting its RSI and stock RSI levels. So stock RSI is getting close to oversold, which is good to see. So in my opinion, we could see some bounce on BNB. A very good level to buy would be 820. If you can get an entry near 820, then below that 750 if it gets there, but probably won't get that low. We can look on the weekly. Maybe you could say buying it near this 846 to 850 level, maybe a good level to DCA. And like I said, 820 afterwards and then 750 after that. And then, yeah, as far as upcoming events, guys, we have, I think, the PCE numbers and the Consumer Confidence Index on August 28th and 29th. So that'll tell us about macro-wise where we're going. And then September 17th is the FOMC meeting. So keep an eye on that. But like I said, if you guys aren't following me at the CryptoData on X, definitely do so. I highly, highly recommend it and appreciate it. I share as much free content as I can with you guys. But let's quickly go over the rest of the questions, and then we will end the stream. Again, 118 likes with 176 viewers. If we could get a few more likes, that'd be awesome, guys. Really appreciate you guys watching today. Means a lot. Let's see. We've got over a few others. Eswar, also, I think you're 32 years old. Like I remember very well, Luke Belmar is 29 years old, and you told me in the previous stream that you're a couple years elder than Luke Belmar. Eswar, you're close. You're close, Eswar. I'll give you that. Yeah, Luke and I are very close in age. Beltran says, what do you think about Ronaldo's coin? Worth getting in and out fast for the opening? If you can get it fast enough, yes. But just keep that, I mean, because he has a lot of fans, obviously. So his coin's going to act a little different, but nonetheless, I think it's going to end up the same, near zero. So yeah, just get in and get out quick. Abhishek, will you please check my gold chart for me? Yep, I just went over gold. Sala, biggest ROI, I'd say hype, Kita, Tau. Yeah, Kita's a good one, actually, Sala. Kita's a good one. And so, yeah, that's good. And Sala, you seem like you're pretty well versed in a few things. So send me a DM on X and we'll talk more about tokens. Eswar, also, I was just guessing your age, CD, and no, I'm not doing any TA for determining our age. How funny. X, for when it's Luke predicting 1K sold, Luke is predicting 1,000 Solana by the end of the cycle. Adrian, closing Gemini's Premium, too many applicants. Could be, yeah. Could be closing it very soon, actually. I know that they're big on keeping it gated. Aramis, how much money do you recommend to allocate in copy trading? A small amount, maybe 10-20% of your trading portfolio. Dilla, prediction of Pengu and Pepe first week of September. Hard to say, but if you're entering, I mean, if you're entering around 2.9 cents, I could say Pengu could reach 3.3 cents to 3.6 cents. Islam, if you guys know what's the fastest way to make 1K per month online, ask ChatGPT. It'll give you some good pointers. But starting something in e-commerce is always a quick way. Dreamer, what do you think about Bucky? I'm bullish on Bucky. Nicholas, these streams are so fun and helpful. Thanks so much. You're the man. Hey, appreciate you, Nicholas. Glad you guys are enjoying the stream. Abel says, what do you think of Rose? No thoughts on Rose. Ghost Rider, I bought Bitcoin on futures on 5-minute time frame at 35-hour side. Do you think it can run to 115 or higher, or do we have liquidity coming along? So we may get to 114K, but there's going to be some resistance after that. There usually is around large liquidity pockets. Eswar, also CD, did you see that Orange's Phantom wallet got drained at 15K USD? Like, what else can we do to secure our funds, man? Yeah, so good point, Eswar. I saw Orangey did get drained. Now, for those who don't know, Orangey is a big account on X. He's got near 300,000 followers. To stay secure, guys, make sure, one, that you're always updating your iPhone or your phone in general with the latest software updates. Never click links that you're unsure of. Never click airdrop links. Never never click links in text messages and emails. Anyone that calls you claiming to be a Coinbase representative or anything, never give them your information. Because, guys, there's emails that are sent that claim to be from Coinbase or MetaMask or other platforms, and they have these malicious links that'll drain your wallets when you click them. Or they'll text you and they'll say, you have a late toll that you need to pay. Like, you know, toll roads, like if you're driving on the highway. And if you don't pay, then they're going to come after you. Guys, this is just to scare you. Do not click these fake links. Do not fall for these. Always go to the official website, the official X account, and verify there. Do not ever follow fake scams, anything saying you have an unauthorized withdrawal on Coinbase, any of that. So yeah, I recommend that. I recommend diversifying your funds, never keeping your funds in one asset like MetaMask. Always diversify MetaMask, Phantom, you know, and then various exchanges, and then a cold storage wallet like Trezor. Trezor or Ledger are good. Keeping your funds diversified across those various platforms will ensure that if you do get hacked, that you're only going to lose a small portion of your capital. That's what I'd recommend. Ghostwriter, also, how's the office coming along? Data, howdy plants. Hey, Ghostwriter, appreciate you asking me. So I ordered the hardwood flooring. Unfortunately, it takes 1 week for processing. I just talked with them before the stream. So they're going to ship it August 28th. So I'm probably going to get it September 3rd or 4th, unfortunately. But it is what it is. I also bought a Tesla, a Model Y Juniper model. I bought that a few days ago. I'm getting that soon as well. If any of you guys have a Tesla, let me know. I'd love to know how you guys like it. I got it for the full self-driving because I want to be trading and stuff while I'm driving. You know, of course, supervising, but I think it's going to get well to once it comes out with unsupervised full self-driving, which I've heard is coming out in December. That's going to change the game completely. And then also about the plants. Yes, I am going to get snake plants for the house. So thank you for reminding me about that. I'm definitely going to get that as well. I need to actually remind myself. I need to stand by. I need to put that, get plants. Put that on my to-do list. I actually have an iPad Pro next to me, and I put all my notes on it. Highly recommend it. Game Realty says Ondo OP. Yeah, Ondo's really good. Also, Syrup, Maple Finance. It's another good RWA project. And CPOOL, CPOOL is a good one as well. Beltran, what do you think about Ronaldo coins? Is it worth getting in and out for the opening? Yeah, probably if you can get in quick. El Guaje says, I sold Solana at 211 a lot of days after holding. Should I enter now or wait for some downsides? I would enter Solana at 180, 173, and 165. Or potentially if the daily closes above 198, which you just reminded me, I did not even go over the... I don't think I went over the Solana chart. So let me go over that real quick. Give me a second, guys. Yeah, so Solana looks like it's falling a little more. It'll probably continue, so if you want to get out now, you can. But the daily chart here, this is what I was looking at. So I was looking at this trend line that was support, resistance, 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 and then we broke above it. So we hit our take profit 1, and then it went right back down when that huge flush. So right now it is flushing a big amount. So you can see here what I talked about. A lot of tokens are showing bearish patterns. A lot of indicators need to reset. So I would not be in a hurry to enter these tokens. And even Solana, it is tanking to 193. I wonder if there's any news that came out recently. But yeah, you can see here, guys, like, unfortunately, this is, you know, what happens whenever you have these big flushes in the market is, unfortunately, you get these altcoins continuing to drop. So yeah, that's unfortunate for Solana. At least we got our take profit 1 at 33%. All right. Next, let's see. Whoops. Let me go ahead and pop out the chat again. A lot of good questions, guys. You guys are on fire with all these questions. I think it's the most questions I've answered in a stream. Ooh. Wow. Yeah, a ton of questions. Okay, I'm just going to go quick fire, guys. I'm going to be talking real fast for the next 5 minutes. Okay, how do you think the crypto market will look in 2028? I think it'll be bullish in 2028. Do you like Ondo? Yeah, Ondo's good. CPOOL and Syrup is good. Nailed it. Thanks to ChatGPT. Yeah, right. Sir Hill, what are your thoughts on Popcat? What's probability for it to go to 60 cents this year? No thoughts on Popcat. Are you bullish on Dolan? No thoughts on Dolan. Hey, CD, what do you think about psychedelic mushrooms? I'll be very careful with psychedelic mushrooms, guys. Like, they can change your brain chemistry, and it can be a positive or a negative, right? So just be very careful. Do it in a controlled environment around people that you trust. And the vibes are good and everything. That would be the best way to do it. Don't do it by yourself because you will have a bad trip. I guarantee it. Did I do that? It says thoughts on small country central banks eyeing XRP and Bitcoin as holdings. How big of a country to view as a catalyst? I think in general, any country adopting is going to be bullish over time. Let's see. Rolando says more calls on Gym Hunter soon. Yes. Islam, I do have abundance mindset. I just don't have anything to provide as a service. You have yourself to provide. That's more than enough. Look at ChatGPT. Look for free ways to make money, and it'll list you a lot of good things. Beltran, what do you think about Ronaldo coin? Yep, already talked about that. Amy, Let's see. What do you think about? Yep. Do you eat cheat meals? If so, what it looks like? From Aramis. Yes, I do eat cheat meals. I try to have healthy pizza, like with healthy ingredients if I can, which I'm probably going to have today, actually. Thanks for reminding me. But yeah, I do eat cheat meals, but it's usually only once a week. Once or twice a week, maybe. But besides that, I'll have steak, eggs, avocado, spinach and kale, coconut, yogurts, fruits, etc. And everything's organic and grass-fed. Rolando, how much a day should you spend looking at charts? I use my own ecom business. I own my own ecom business for cash flow, then use that for trading. At least 1 hour per day. At least 1 hour per day looking at charts. If you can do 2 hours, that'd be even better. Jessica, thanks for the advice. Definitely need it from millionaires and billionaires. Settlement getting closed this year or next year. Delayed gratification at the moment. Hey, no problem, Jessica. And that's how you, again, you got to be smart with your money, which you already are, clearly. So it's just making your money last. Making it work for you, not the other way around. EF says, you eat out ever? Popeyes be frying their food in beef tallow now. I do eat out sometimes, EF. Not a whole lot. But yeah, I like that other places are now cooking in beef tallow, staying away from seed oils. Guys, stay away from canola oil, from vegetable oil, from... what other oils are there? Canola, vegetable, palm oil, and there's a couple others that are very bad for you. Like anything that's seed oils, guys. Like it needs to have coconut oil is good for you, olive oil is good for you, and then beef tallow is good for you. Nikusha, how long does it take for Bitcoin to reach 1 million? And what might be the reasons you think that can crash Bitcoin? Bitcoin 1 million by 2030. Leviathan, thanks for all the intel. We appreciate the hard work. Hey, appreciate you, Leviathan. Mirza, do you drink coffee at all? I do drink coffee. I try to keep it organic, though. Organic coffee. Anything I eat or drink, organic. In my water, I drink Mountain Valley spring water in glass bottles. I pay the extra money, but it's worth it. Kevin, I find it interesting that you believe the top will be May 2026 when I seem to notice most are expecting the top Q4 specifically this year. Any specific reason for May 2026? Yeah, I just think the delay in interest rate cuts, and I think that's pushing us into an extended cycle. I think if we got rate cuts in July, we would probably top out this year. But the fact that we are extending those rate cuts and the Fed is so willing to adjust policy to where now they're open to just printing money and turning the money printer on and focus more on stimulating the economy, I think that's changed the game. Rolando, thoughts on Fartcoin? Not a bad token, but just, yeah, only buy at major support levels in the daily or weekly. Nikusha, what's your exit strategy for this bull run? I'm going to exit 33% by end of October, 33% by the end of December, and then 33% by April or May. El Guaje says, are you in Layer FNF? What do you think of that guy called Pika XBT? Yes, I'm in Layer FNF. Pika's a good guy. He ran up meme coin to over 50 mil, so he knows what he's doing. Do you think the crypto team, including Belmar, track calories? I've seen Luke's physique, and he's shredded. I'm sure y'all just try not to overeat, but still curious. So great question, EF. So I do track calories, yes. I focus more on just the food I'm eating and the healthy stuff I'm eating. And I also have my workout. I track my workouts. So I have like a log and I'll track, okay, am I still lifting more weight than I did last week, right? Progressive overload. And so my workouts are really good. I track all of those. I don't track calories super closely, but I have an idea of how many calories I need to maintain my physique and slightly gain muscle each month. Adrian, do you apply Elliott Waves theory to your trades? I don't, but Elliott Waves are good. And also, yeah, the Wyckoff method. The Wyckoff method is very good for those who actually are, are very in tune with it. And also, if you guys aren't following, follow Wyckoff on crypto. This guy is one of the best Wyckoff traders I know. Wyckoff on crypto, very, very good. Very, very smart guy. And I'll actually post his channel. Everyone should follow him. Very good guy. Very, very smart. All right, let's see some more questions real quick. Again, we're over the stream time, but I'll keep answering a few questions for you guys. John says, do you recommend I sell my alts before the pull in September and hold the strong performers? I mean, yes and no. Like, we're going to have a lot of chop this week. So it's hard to say. But yeah, I'd probably only hold on to the strong performers. Nikusha, do you think we'll see Solana all-time high? I think so. Ray is in Radium? Yes. Yeah, I think Radium is a very good Solana beta play. Nikusha, and if we will have an NFT bull run once again, probably not. If we're going to have an NFT bull run, Pudgy Penguins is going to be the top. Mirza caught a smooth 3x on Balagis. Awesome, Mirza. Congrats. Rolando says, is Fartcoin chopped? Maybe. AB, are there any catalysts for AI in Q4? You know, I think so. Tesla is releasing their V14 at the end of September for their full self-driving, which is going to be amazing. They said it's going to nag you less and it's going to have 10 times more parameters. But they're planning to release their unsupervised full self-driving. Rumors are in December. So, yeah, we may see some big catalyst. I think when AI eventually reaches AGI for OpenAI or XAI or whoever, that's a point will be a huge catalyst. And at that point, we'll see an AI season again. Yep. Mezzo, I did the Solana chart already. Mezzo says, how much are you invested in these markets? Just tell us estimate, not exact numbers. I mean, I'm invested a good amount. I'll say that. Mahedi, everyone expecting bearish September, but the masses always tend to be wrong, isn't it? Yeah, that's why it's going to be half bullish, half bearish to chop people up. ETH short, you could ETH short until 4,300 or 4,000. B goes, how far do you think Bitcoin will fall in September? Hard to say, but I mean, I guess I don't want to say 100K is not out of the question, but probably 106 to 107 is the lowest. X says, how do you invest in real estate? Do you own and rent it, or do you invest in it online if there's a way to do that? So for real estate, you just rent. You could do either or, right? You could buy properties or you could rent them out. I recommend renting out properties, probably the way to go there. Hiring a property manager, you got to pay them 10% of the mortgage, but they'll take away a lot of stress, and it's just a way of passive income, right? Especially if you can rent duplexes or triplexes, have 2 or 3 families living in one house, all of them paying their own rent. Say the house charges you only $1,500 a month, but then you could charge all of them like $1,000 a month, so you're making an extra $1,500 on top, which covers appliances, it covers your property managers, and it covers other unforeseen circumstances. So yeah, triplexes and duplexes are good, but just be wary of the people you are hiring to live in there. Let's see. Claudio, could you check out 1 week line graph for BTC and the weekly trend line you said you might have broken? Oh, yeah. Let me check that real quick, Claudio. So let's do BTC, the Binance chart. Yeah, so this was the weekly trend line I was talking about. So, yeah, this is not too good, guys. This is not good at all. So this weekly trend line, it basically closed below. I mean, it very slightly closed below it. And so not looking good. Not looking good at all. Like at this point, yeah, we're going to retest 110. And we may retest 100 at that point. Like, but I will say, look at this. The stock RSI is almost oversold. So Bitcoin's going to have a run soon. So the lowest I could see us going, like I said, is like 107, 108K. I think there's going to be a lot of buy pressure around here. So unfortunately, we didn't bounce off this trend line. But nonetheless, we just do still have some good support levels afterwards. All right, let's see. Sue, why Solana 350 increased 77% by the end of the year, but ETH 6K only 33%? I'm just going based off their all-time highs, Sue. So it's not really percentage based, but Solana 295, 20% above that, 360. ETH high was 5K, 20% above that, 6K. So it's both 20% above their all-time highs. Mike, Pangu. Yeah, 2.84 cents is a good long level for Pangu. That's why I'd be looking to bid. And also, yeah, I'll go over the chart real quick because I did mention a descending wedge and that I would go over it. So, actually, did I go over on this chart? Yeah, here we go. So, yeah, so let's say slight descending wedge, which is a bullish pattern. I mean, it's not as constricted as I would like, but I would look for maybe something like this. Decrease, and then boom. Something like that. All right, let's see who else we got. Again, guys, if you aren't following me on X at the CryptoData, definitely do so. Post a lot of good content for you guys. Check the pinned message, check everything there. I make sure to keep you guys apprised of what's going on. Sui, so Sui would be a good buy near probably around 310 for Sui. I'll go over that chart real quick, and then after that, I will cut it off for the chart since there's way too many questions for me to answer, and I cannot chart without making this a much longer live stream. So Yeah, 330 could be a good bid level for Sui. It's right in the 200 EMA, so around 327 to 330. Then below that, 295. That'd be my levels for Sui. Okay, guys. Gonna be quick fire for questions. What website, let's see, is that you're using to view all crypto coins? So I use CoinGecko. I think Sold Daily will be below 187. I think so too, Ghost Rider. Craze, I would say I'm pretty experienced in the Solana trenches and I want to expand to ETH base, but ETH base seems very confusing. Where should I get started? Just start follow whatever Cole shill. Yes and no. I mean, follow the people I told you into Cryptoverse, Virtual Bacon, and Wyckoff on Crypto, and then make your bets from there. And then, yeah, if you find some KOLs that are accurate with their calls, you can follow them. Murr says Messi or Ronaldo. Honestly, I like both of them. They're both, I don't want to choose. They're both good guys. Greenland, thanks, appreciate it, no problem. Yep, already paying. Claudio, what flipped the switch for your life where you locked down on health and crypto? I found myself falling into old habits and laziness. So, Claudio, what really helped me, one was meditating, and then two, just finding your why. That's the biggest thing. So what's your why? Is it retiring your family? Is it creating a better life for your family? Is it creating a better life for yourself? Is it, you know, creating a better life for your loved one, for your spouse? Just in general, I mean, I'll tell you this, right? When you want to create a better life for yourself, it's when you've usually hit rock bottom and you need to make a change. And I tell everyone, change before you have to. So you may not necessarily be at rock bottom right now, but don't let yourself get there. Start small habits. And when you meditate, it helps as well because you can envision what you want your life to be like in 5 years, in 10 years. And you need to be as descriptive and clear with it as possible. So what house do you want to live in? What do you want to be doing with your family? How much money do you want to have? What cars do you want to have? What watches do you want to have? What house do you want to have? Where do you want to live at? What countries do you want to travel? Like, literally visualize everything, write down your goals, create a vision board, and just literally start accomplishing them one by one, because it starts small, right? You don't need to change everything overnight, but start practicing positive habits, start making incremental changes in your diet. If you're drinking Coke every day, then only drink one Coke every other day, and then only drink Coke on the weekends, and then don't even drink Coke at all, and just drink water, milk, and maybe some juice or something, right? But that's where you need to get to where it's just slow changes. And if you're not working out right now, just start working out a couple days a week. Just start walking on the treadmill. Start doing some light weight, and then work out a couple more days. Then start using heavier weight once your body adjusts. Like, it's all about incremental changes, and positive habits compound, okay? And surround yourself with the right people as well. So if you're surrounding with people that are constantly negative, that are pessimistic, that don't want to do anything with their life, get away from them. Like, guys, I'm telling you this, because I know I have a lot of young people that watch me, like in their teens and maybe early 20s. If you're worried about your friends and losing your friends, your priorities are in the wrong spot. So friends are going to do their own thing, right? They're going to have their own family. You can't be focused on them. You got to focus on your own life at the end of the day. Yes, you're going to lose friends when you focus more on your health, working out, and really focus on your own life. But that's just life, guys. The ones who truly care about you are going to stick with you no matter what. The ones who are just using you for your money, or, you know, they're doing drugs, or they're in these bad scenarios, those are just going to pull you down. So surround yourself with like-minded people, people that elevate you, and that's how you'll get smarter. Read books, practice good habits, and you'll literally see your life change. But it all starts with your why. Choose why you're doing what you're doing, and then create your goals and literally start achieving them incrementally. But it starts with your health, getting your 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and slowly changing that, and then everything else will follow suit. Okay, let's see. Levels to DCA on Solana, 180, 173, and then 165. Kevin said trading while driving is crazy. Hey, full self-driving is getting good, Kevin. I'll tell you what. Let's see. Greenland says, no, I like gas. Hey, I have a gas car as well. Both are good, right? I mean, you got to have both. But I think full self-driving is getting so good that it's the way to go. All right, getting towards the end of the questions. You mentioned that Pengu should reach 2.84 cents. Could you show your analysis on why it should reach a level hunt for liquidity? Yeah, all right. So I just went over that chart. Let's see. CD, I'm late, but I have 2 questions. Philip asks, hopefully we can talk L2 and Arbitrum. Magic, thoughts on pump? Airdrop will pump it or dump it? Airdrop is probably going to dump it, honestly. And then it'll consolidate for a month or two and then eventually pump. Let's see. Greenland says never, kale, never. Hey, come on. If you cook it with spinach, it's not that bad, Greenland. It's not that bad. Sesame. Sesame's not bad either. Botified. Why are daily closes important? Because they signify where the interest is at, because daily candles are higher, are 24 hours worth of data, and that tells you where the institutions and the whales want the prices to go. So they're significant levels because a lot of the whales watch it. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Rolando says rice bran oil and Chipotle rip. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, guys, I haven't eaten Chipotle in a while. And for people that also think about it, Chipotle wrecks your body. Every time people eat it, it makes their stomach upset, etc. So guys, that should tell you why. Nothing's good in there. What's going on, Pedram? Good to see you here. Arvid, how long did you take it to become profitable in crypto? What are your tips for someone just starting out? Honestly, a couple years, because crypto is very volatile. To mess with your emotions. The minute you can disconnect your emotions and act on the data is the minute you become profitable. That's why my name is CryptoData. Also, follow me on X if you guys aren't. Much appreciated. And like the streams if you guys haven't. 125 likes. Awesome job, guys. Appreciate that. Rolando, I eat seed oil free 80% of the time, but I still like Chipotle sometimes, so I still get seed oils from the rice brand. So again, if majority of your time you're not getting seed oils, then that's good, right? Obviously, a few times here and there isn't bad, but the majority of your time is healthy, then that's good. Rocco's, are you staying in the soul trade? I mean, I'm kind of committed at this point until the daily close, but yeah, I'd probably get out. Greenland, Powell says, quote, I'm not political. Yeah, he says he's not political, but you know that's probably not true. 5-4 Maxi, what trade strategies do you typically stick with? Just support and resistance plus EMAs. Side note, 9 EMA scalp in the 30 minutes seems solid right now for Sol. Good to know for Maxi. Yes, I do support resistance, EMAs, and then RSI and stock RSI, along with sentiment indicators like fear and greed index, liquidity heat map, ETF flows, etc. Any thoughts on AI pre-sale coins? Pre-sales are usually bad. Light was an exception. The Litecoin. Kevin, interesting. Thanks, man. No problem. Rolando, people say the 4-year cycles are over. Is that really true? I think so. I think so. I know that could be a top signal saying they're over, and that usually happens every cycle, but we haven't had ETF flows like we've had this cycle, so potentially different. Rolando, were you at the Capital Club meeting in LA? I was not, but I've been to every Capital Club meeting in Singapore and Dubai, and I'll be in Singapore the end of September, beginning of October. So if you guys are there, let me know. Botified, I'm in college for the sport. Is there any classes that would be nice in learning about things like crypto, blockchains, or things like that? Yeah, Botified, join some business classes. So join a finance class if you can. I'm not sure. Well, it says you're in college for sport. So yeah, so any elective that's going to be finance focused or like focused on stocks or even business management, something that's focused on business or entrepreneurship, like that's always good in general for you to learn. So, but yeah, stocks, crypto, business management, trading, investments, something like that could help you learn the financial sector a little bit better. Esteban, dates for the next big events for big impact on the market. August 28th and 29th, we have some PCE numbers coming out. And then September 17th for the FOMC meeting. What do you think about SVR tweets? I think he's not too bad. Kevin, are you also looking into Ray or Ray? Oh, both. REI and RAY. REI is a good AI token on base. RAY is a good beta play for Solana. John, thanks for always making time to provide these educational live streams. Hey, no problem, guys. Neon, will we see XRP $10? It's possible. Crypto Ace. Yo, guys, look at ETH. We'll have to check that out. Dreamer, gonna work out. Bye, guys. Hey, see you, Dreamer. Thanks for watching. Rolando, so 10x leverage max, but I love 100x. Yeah, it all depends on how much capital you're risking. If you're risking $10 on 100x leverage, sure. But if you're risking $1,000 on 100x leverage, way too risky. Bromes, can we expect calls when the indicators are rest? Yes. XRP chat, please. Oliver, I look at my P&L at BloFin the last 90 days, and I am negative 2.5K. Why am I thinking I'm little profits? I am profitable. It's just because the volatility in the market. Kevin, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. Hey, no problem. V-Ra, you are sunshine. Hey, appreciate you, V-Ra. So are you. Oliver, how long did it take you to become profitable in futures trading? 2 years. Claudio, appreciate the real sauce, real gems by CD. Awesome, guys. Well, that is going to do it for the questions. I really appreciate you guys. I love you guys so much. Again, I appreciate all the likes. If you guys aren't following me on X at the CryptoData, definitely do so. I post a lot of good content. Check my pinned message. Check all my content I have. And also, if you aren't joining the Gem Hunters free group, that's in the description. Also, the paid group is in the description as well. 1 year or 1 Ethereum for a yearly subscription. They provide more leverage calls, meme coin calls, live streams, 24/7 concierge service, etc. Also, if you haven't joined the Gem Hunters BloFin referral program, that's also in the description as well. But thank you guys so much. Love you guys.